great honor to introduce Eric Weissmann, our next congressman.
Let's say thank you to Rob Whitworth, who was an awesome legislator. And then he went back to the private sector, like a true citizen legislator. Now, who looks at the news and says, what are those people thinking in Washington? Who wants a new congressman in the 2nd Congressional District? Well, I am a bleeding heart conservative. It even says so on my business card. And that means that my core principle is that only individual liberty and free enterprise can provide the opportunity for all of us, no matter who our parents are, no matter whether they're rich or poor, to create a better life for ourselves and our children. I'm 47, and for most of those 47 years, since I was maybe 2, I have believed in America and American exceptionalism.
All right.
It is as true today as it ever was. We are a great nation and a great people. We are an important people with a high place in world history. Our freedom and free enterprise have done more for us, through us, to advance the cause of human progress than any other nation in the long history of civilization.
Okay, say it, Eric.
But now we all see, for all the greatness we've exhibited over the generations, we are now drifting and struggling. We're even retreating. Instead of leading our troubled world through these turbulent times and through principled leadership, we are a staggering giant who's lost its footing. At the root of it all is a political system corroded by partisanship, by gridlock, and by corruption. Until recently, when our country faced a great challenge, that challenge was overmatched by the great voices of national leadership. But today, our national challenges, which are great, have been met with small voices of pettiness and bickering. Our president has failed, and Congress has too. We are a two-party system. Two parties that no one likes and no one trusts. And those leaders offer us more of the same. More partisanship, more gridlock, and more corruption. This has got to stop now. I'm running for Congress because I don't want us to be the first American generation to break our promise to the next of a freer, better future. I'm running because I'm frustrated and I'm angry at the dysfunctional antics in Washington. I'm running because the only people with a chance to make things better, to really make a change in these crazy times, are not career politicians or corrupt insiders, but people like you and me, who've worked hard and been successful in the private sector and exercised leadership in our communities. I'm running for Congress to challenge the system, to make sure that this congressional district, this beautiful congressional district, does its part to stop the partisanship, stop the gridlock, and stop tolerating the cronyism and corruption in Washington. Before I talk more about myself, let me talk a little about our setting, a kind of unusual setting for launching a campaign. We even have a rubbish truck in the front to help us take the garbage out of Washington. We're located in Louisville, which is a city ranked #1 on Money Magazine's list of the most livable cities in America. Louisville is a special jewel in a district full of special jewels. But what you see in this building is what's left of a used bookstore. It closed up shop last year. And anytime a business closes, it's not just a financial loss. It's a human loss. It's a human loss for the employees, for the customers, for the communities, and even for the owners who took a big risk to try to start that business. This is a very tough environment for business, especially for the small businesses that create our jobs. Unfair and incomprehensible taxes, a never-ending stream of new regulations, and spending and debt that weigh us down with economic uncertainty. We chose this setting to illustrate the challenges that we have to face up to as a nation to turn our future around. Now I'll tell you a little about myself and how I came to be here in front of you. I'm proud to be a first-generation American. My dad fled the oppression of communism in Romania around the time of World War II. He chose to come to the U.S. He chose to come here, not so that the 1940s versions of Barack Obama and his junior partner, Jared Polis, would provide free goodies, tell him what doctors he could see, empty his wallet. He came here for the freedom and opportunity that he could only dream about in Soviet bloc Eastern Europe. My mom, Carol, taught my sister and me the value of self-reliance. She put herself through graduate school at CU as a single mother, and then spent her career right here in Boulder County working for IBM. And in case you're wondering what kind of upbringing she gave us, she did teach me not to brag about myself and ask strangers for money, but I had to give up and rebel on those things when I decided to be parents. I grew up right here in the district. I moved here in '75. And starting when I was 15, I took advantage of that American freedom and that opportunity to become an entrepreneur. I've built, bought, and sold businesses. I've created jobs, and along the way I created value for employees, for customers, for the communities, as well as for myself. I didn't do any of it alone. I had a lot of help from some very talented people, a few of whom are here with me today. But I took a lot of risks, more successfully than not, and now I know what makes our economy tick. I've also tried along the way to serve our community. I've been passionate about education because when I look at the kids who grow up in very, very troubled, challenging circumstances, I know that the most reliable path for upward mobility for them is education. I've been on the board of 3 great organizations that focus on educating at-risk kids. The Alliance for Choice of Education is one of them. Thanks to Norton Rainey, their executive director, is here with us today. Also, the Wellness Initiative in Boulder and Colorado Oakland all have done incredible strides, and I'm proud to have helped them. I've been an advisor to the leadership program in the Rockies, which trains conservative leaders. I'm a graduate myself, and I'm proud to be the 2008 Defender of Capitalism Award winner, because today, believe me, capitalism needs every bit of defense that it can get. I would not have been able to do any of this without the help and support and blessing of my terrific family. My wife Jennifer is here somewhere. Hi. This is my daughter Isabel. She's 6. My sister is David. He's 24. Jonah is somewhere. Hey, buddy. He's almost 4. My sister's here with her family. There. I think I saw my stepdad Travis come in somewhere. And my in-laws visiting from Westport, Connecticut, Stu and Barbara Rogan. Thank you all for being here. And that brings me back to why we're here and why I'm running. David graduated from college not long ago, and he and his classmates are smart, they're well educated, and they're hardworking. No matter what we say about that generation, these are not slackers. But they are uniformly experiencing a tough start to their adult lives. And these great kids, and your great kids, and some of you who are kids, should have the same kinds of opportunities that our generation had. But government policies have hobbled our economy and hobbled our future. We need to unleash the energy and creativity of the American people now before it's too late. But you won't find me working through someone else's checklist, someone else's definition of what it means to be a good Republican or what you have to do to win a nomination. As much as I admire men like Marco Rubio and Ronald Reagan, and I embrace many of their ideals, I'm my own man. I will work for you, and only for you, and I will be true to the principles I'm talking about today, because that's why I'm here, and that's why I will be there. I want a simpler and smaller federal government that affords the individual and the states the utmost deference and respect. Our federal government should focus on doing fewer things, doing them right, and otherwise leave us alone. Translating that into policy means a simpler and fairer tax system that doesn't favor those who can afford expensive lawyers and accountants. It means an unafraid approach to reforming entitlements and cutting spending. It means an end to bailouts, cronyism, and sweetheart deals, and congressional self-dealing. And it means a willingness to just say, no, that isn't Washington's job. Now, none of this gets fixed with the dysfunctional crew that we have in D.C. today. Come on, is delegating our economic future to a super committee really the best that we could do? Could we really not agree on a payroll tax rate for more than 2 months? This is insane, and we should not be standing for it. It's insane because the inmates are running the asylum. The inmates are the career politicians. I know the incumbent, Jared Polis, talks about being an entrepreneur, and he was an entrepreneur, but he's entering his 10th year in elective office, and he's only 36 years old. I say he's a career politician. This national embarrassment is a matter of absent leadership. It's a matter of politicians not worrying about what's right or wrong, but worrying about what they can get away with. And that brings me back to Congressman Polis. Jared and I have actually been friends for many years. I even gave him $1,000 in his first primary election. Now, before my Republican friends here have an aneurysm, let me point out it was a primary. There wasn't even a Republican in the race, and my support for other GOP candidates has been unwavering. But Polis spoke then as though he understood the principles of liberty and the free market. He promised to be a new kind of Democrat. But here's what I didn't know when he made that promise. That a new kind of Democrat was actually going to be worse than the old kind. He was there for Obamacare, he was there for the stimulus, he was there for the auto bailouts, he was there for cap and trade, and the list goes on and on and on. So Congressman, when you watch this on YouTube, pay attention to this. You have let us down. You have not been true to the principles of free enterprise and liberty that you led us to believe that you shared with us. You have put the interest of your political party first. And now listen to this, Jared. I want my $1,000 back now. We need people who are real-world citizen leaders. People who are running because they want to do something, not because they want to be something. We need people who can assemble coalitions to get things done, not partisan bomb throwers intent on scoring political points. This campaign is about restoring our American future. It's about protecting our liberty, building prosperity, and having a government, a limited government. Wow. Was that a kid? Okay. That we can be proud of. A limited government that we can be proud of. If you agree with me, please join me. Together we'll take a positive step towards fulfilling that promise to the next generation. Thank you very much, and thank you for your support.